Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're going deep into the world of unsolved mysteries. Those events and happenings that continue to baffle experts and, well, just really capture the imagination.
Mysteries that really make you think.
Exactly. We'll be looking at everything from ancient puzzles like Stonehenge to more recent disappearances and strange events that, honestly, sometimes seem to defy all logic.
It's really incredible.
And to help us unpack the theories, the evidence, or sometimes the lack of evidence, and just what makes these mysteries so fascinating, I've got an expert with me today.
Glad to be here.
All right, so let's jump right in. We're starting with, well, I'd say a real head-scratcher, the Voynich manuscript, this medieval book. It's, well, full of these strange symbols and illustrations.
And nobody can figure them out. It's been centuries.
It's like a coded message from other time.
Or maybe even, some people say aliens.
I was just going to say, the alien theory, it's out there, right? Have to at least consider it with something this strange.
It's definitely intriguing. I mean, imagine a book that seems to hold secrets, but in a language we just can't crack. Top cryptographers, linguists, historians, they've all tried, and still, the script remains undeciphered.
Undeciphered. It makes you wonder, is it a hoax? Some elaborate joke from the past?
Could be. Or maybe a lost language, a code we just haven't figured out how to unlock yet.
The possibilities are endless, but that's part of what makes it so fascinating, right?
Absolutely. It really highlights how we as humans grapple with the unknown. Does the fact that we can't understand it make it more intriguing?
I think so. Okay, so from a medieval mystery, we're moving on to a real-life event that's just as chilling as it is puzzling. The Dyatlov Pass incident.
Oh, this one is definitely unsettling.
9 experienced hikers. They die in the Ural Mountains in 1959 under some very strange circumstances. I mean, their tent was cut open from the inside, bodies scattered, some with injuries that just couldn't be explained.
The details are what's so strange. Experienced hikers, they wouldn't just cut their way out of a tent in freezing weather, right?
Unless something was terrifying them. And then there's the injuries. Some of them didn't fit with a simple fall or, I don't know, an animal attack. And get this, traces of radiation on their clothing.
Radiation? Now, why would there be radiation?
It gets even weirder, right? Okay, gotta ask, could the Cold War, which was in full swing in 1959, have anything to do with it? Secret military testing gone wrong.
It's a theory some people definitely believe. Maybe the hikers stumbled onto something they shouldn't have seen. But without concrete proof, it's hard to say for sure.
It's a chilling thought. But honestly, even without the Cold War angle, the circumstances are just so bizarre. Some people even say, well, maybe it was paranormal activity.
I can see why people might think that. When something's so inexplicable, the paranormal, well, it's an easy place to go.
But even without bringing in the supernatural, the Dyatlov Pass incident, it remains a mystery that just sends chills down your spine.
Agreed. Chilling.
So from chilling mystery to a heartbreaking one, our next stop is West Virginia, Christmas Eve, 1945. The disappearance of the Sodder children. A family's home catches fire. 5 of their children vanish without a trace. Just gone.
It's a case that really pulls at your heartstrings. A devastating fire, no trace of the children. It's almost like they just vanished into thin air.
Which makes you wonder, did they even die in the fire?
Exactly. It was a bad fire, but no remains. That's what fueled so much of the speculation. Maybe they didn't die that night.
And there were other weird details too, right? Like, wasn't there a strange phone call before the fire? And then there was that suspicious stranger seen around the house.
Oh yeah, those details definitely added fuel to the fire. Theories abound, Some believe the children were kidnapped, maybe as revenge against their father, George Sodder. He was pretty outspoken against Mussolini and his regime in Italy.
It's a terrifying thought. Kidnapping is definitely a chilling possibility. But didn't the police also look into an insurance scam theory? Could the parents have faked the whole thing? Taken the kids and started new lives?
They did look into it, but again, no real evidence to support it. And honestly, it doesn't explain the most haunting part. No remains. Imagine the family living with that uncertainty, not knowing what happened to their children for years and years.
It really makes you think about the enduring power of these mysteries. Sometimes they stay unsolved, leaving families and investigators with nothing but questions. Speaking of questions.
And sometimes it's not about something disappearing, but about something that appears or something you can't quite pinpoint. Take the Taos hum, for example.
The Taos hum? Yeah, I've heard of this. So like a constant humming noise? What's the deal with that?
Imagine living in a place where there's this constant low-frequency hum. It's just there, but nobody can figure out the source.
That would drive me crazy, like a mechanical noise. Or something else?
It's not really like a typical mechanical hum, no. It's more like this low rumble almost, like a distant engine maybe. Some researchers think it could be environmental, like something to do with seismic activity or maybe the way the wind patterns are in Taos.
So like something geological. Interesting. But I've also heard people say it could be psychological, like a mass hallucination almost.
Yeah, the psychological explanation is interesting. Not everyone hears it. And those who do, well, they describe it in different ways, adds to the mystery. Some think it could be a type of hyperacusis, where you're super sensitive to certain sound frequencies.
So it could be a real sound, but only some people pick up on it. That's wild. But okay, gotta ask, could it be like top secret government stuff? You know how it goes with these things.
Of course, that's always on the table. Some theories link the hum to, I don't know, secret facilities or underground experiments. Who knows? But even without going down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, the Taos hum, well, it's definitely a mystery. Shows us that even with all our technology, there are still things we just can't explain.
Makes you question what's real,
Yeah.
you know? Speaking of things that make you question reality, let's talk about the death of Elisa Lam. This case, wow, that elevator footage, it really got to people.
It is disturbing. She's acting so erratically, almost like she's trying to hide from someone. But there's nobody else there. And then her body was found in a water tank on the roof of the Cecil Hotel, which, let's be honest, has a pretty creepy history on its own.
Like the hotel itself is part of the mystery. With its history, it's no wonder people went straight to paranormal explanations.
Oh, definitely. But there are other theories, too. Mental health was a big part of the investigation. Elisa Lam had bipolar disorder, and some people think her behavior in the elevator was related to that.
Makes sense. But that still doesn't explain how she ended up in the water tank.
Exactly. The official ruling was accidental drowning. But given the circumstances, well, people are going to wonder if there was something more going on.
It's a case that really shows, even in the age of all this surveillance, all the technology we have, some deaths, they just remain a mystery.
They do. Sometimes the evidence just adds to the puzzle. Speaking of puzzles, let's go back in time, way back. Stonehenge. It's been around for thousands of years. But we still don't really know what it was for.
It blows my mind. These huge stones and the way they're arranged. What did people thousands of years ago use this for?
Most people believe Stonehenge was a religious or ceremonial site. Maybe for rituals tied to the solstices and equinoxes. The stones line up in a way that marks the sun's movements, so there's definitely an astronomical connection there.
Right, like a giant calendar almost. But of course you can't talk about Stonehenge without mentioning, well, aliens.
Of course not. Aliens and ancient mysteries go together like peanut butter and jelly. But even if we stick to, well, more realistic explanations, the scale of Stonehenge and the precision, it's pretty incredible. Really makes you think about what our ancestors were capable of.
It does. All right, well, for our last stop on this deep dive, we're going to a place that sparked endless conspiracy theories and captured imaginations for decades, the Bermuda Triangle.
Ah, yes, the Bermuda Triangle. The infamous Triangle of Doom.
Ships and planes vanishing. Is it magnetic anomalies, underwater methane explosions, or maybe, aliens?
Well, gotta love those alien theories. But honestly, the Bermuda Triangle is a busy area with some unpredictable weather patterns. A lot of those disappearances, well, they can be chalked up to human error, mechanical failures, or just, the dangers of being out on the open ocean.
So you're saying it's not really that mysterious after all, just a bunch of bad luck?
Not necessarily. There have been some cases that are hard to explain, like vessels vanish without a trace, no distress signals, no wreckage.
Oh, there's still some mystery there.
Oh, yeah. The Bermuda Triangle, it reminds us, even in our modern world, there are still places where we don't have all the answers. And maybe that's what makes it so fascinating, right?
I don't know about you, but I just love how all these mysteries remind us that there's still so much we don't know about the world. It's kind of humbling, but also really exciting.
Right. I mean, we think we've got it all figured out, and then boom, something like the Voynich manuscript or the Dyatlov Pass incident pops up, and it's like, wait a minute. Makes you rethink everything.
Yeah, it's like trying to solve a giant puzzle, but every time you think you're getting close, the picture changes.
Exactly. And that's what makes these mysteries so captivating, right? They keep us searching, keep us asking questions, keep us pushing the boundaries of what we think we know.
So for someone like me, not an expert, but just, fascinated by all these stories, what's the big takeaway? What can we learn from these mysteries that are still unsolved?
I think it comes down to this basic human need we all have, this need to make sense of the world, We look for explanations, try to find patterns, connect the dots. And when we bump into something that just doesn't fit, that's when we really have to look at what we know or what we think we know. It's like, okay, maybe there's more to this than we thought.
Like a little reminder that there's still magic and wonder out there, even with all our science and technology.
I like that. Magic and wonder. It's true. These mysteries remind us that there's always more to learn, more to discover, and hey, maybe one day some of these mysteries will be solved. We'll get a few more pieces of the puzzle.
Here's a question for you then. If you could pick just one of these mysteries to solve, which one would it be and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think for me it would be the Dyatlov Pass incident. All those strange injuries, the radiation, the whole Cold War backdrop. It's just, I don't know, it's a puzzle I really want to see solved. What about you?
Well, that's a good one. But for me, it would have to be the solder children. To think about those parents not knowing what happened to their kids for all those years, to give them some answer, some closure, that would be, wow, that would be something.
I get that. And I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. These mysteries, they're not just abstract puzzles. They involve real people, real lives, real heartbreak sometimes. And the fact that people keep searching for answers, even when it seems impossible, it just shows you the power of human curiosity and compassion, too, I think.
Well said. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of unsolved mysteries for today. But of course, the exploration doesn't have to stop here. We've only just scratched the surface of these cases, really.
Exactly. And that's what's so great about these mysteries. They really make you want to dig deeper, you know? Do your own research, read up on the different theories, maybe even come up with some of your own.
Hey, maybe one of you listening will be the one to uncover that missing piece of the puzzle, the one that finally solves one of these mysteries.
Until then, keep exploring, keep those questions coming, and never lose that sense of wonder.